Today in the shop we have a 1983 911 SC that we are changing the fuel lines that run from the gas tank through the tunnel and up to the back of the engine. Let's go. So just to bring you up to speed, what I've done so far is I have undone the return line and I've drained the gas tank. We've still got a little bit dripping out, so I've got a little catch can underneath it. The tank had about a third of a tank into it, so I just drained it into some buckets. So I've got two lines that we need to disconnect. The first one, this is our return line that comes from the gas tank right here. The other one is going to be right here on my fuel pump. Now I've loosened the front cross member. You can see these bolts right here. I've just got them loosened off. I haven't pulled them out the whole way, just to drop this cross member down and get the steering rack down a little bit, because these fuel lines run up and over this little hump right here, and I need a little bit of room to be able to feed them through. Back of the car, I've got my sway bar off right here. I've got my rear cross member off, and I'm just supporting the transmission sitting very gently right here. Here's my two fuel lines right here and right here that I need to be able to get to be able to connect to our new polyamide lines that are going to run through the tunnel. Yep. It's the last guy that did this. Crimped some connectors on that are too big to go through the bracket. So I've undone my first fuel line back here, and there's a lot of stuff back here you got to kind of fight your way through. And then there's a little rubber bushing where it goes through the body. I'm just going to pick it out so I can pull this line through. There we go. Push it back into the body and we'll get it from the inside. So I've got the one fuel line undone, the other one's kind of covered up by the clutch cable, so I'll try and snake in there and see if I can kind of pry it over so I can get in there and undo it. I might see if I can pull this one back a little bit. You don't have to worry about trying to fish these. These have a dedicated steel channel that they ride in, and I'll show you the inside. We have it pretty well stripped out in there. So I've got both. I've got the driver's side seat out and the gear shift out, so I got access to everything. Straight down my arm.
It's a smelly job.
Yeah. Just pushing the pulley out. There we go. And we can retrieve that from the inside. There we go. Peel that rubber bushing out.
How do you get those? Are those bushings split?
Yeah.
So you can get them in without the fuel?
I'll show you the new ones. It's pre-cut, and we'll just lube these up and push them in.
Wow.
It's amazing how much fuel these lines can actually hold.
Yeah. Oh, he's popping out. Gross.
Okay, so there's our first line out. pretty straightforward. Don't see any damage. Okay, there's our second fuel line out. I'm just going to get this started, and then I'm going to go into the car. So as you can see, I've got my gear shift out, I got my center console out, that way I can access all of these holes. Right here, this is the clamp that clamps around those fuel lines, and then right here is a channel that those fuel lines are going to run in. And once you get them into that channel, which starts just right about here, then they just feed all the way down to the back over here, and you can see where I poked the little rubber bushings out, and then they're going to come through these two holes back here. Oh, that's where it went. Oh, completely on the wrong side.
Can you pull it out a little bit?
Yeah, probably.
I can wiggle it for you.
I just got to find it. Oh no, there it is. It's right where it should be. Feeding it down. Missed the cavity. Ah, there it is. So I'm just using my index finger to slide it along, and it's actually moves pretty easy once it's in that cavity. Just getting the old rubber bushings out of the way. So this one right here is our return side. We just looked from the top of the vehicle to see which side this metal line is on. And then it comes down to this fitting right here. And so this fitting, we want our return side to come through on this hole and our pressure side to come through on this hole. So I'm going to go back up into the car and push through our return line, because that's the one we've run first. That we can see right here. This is our return fitting, where it's going to screw onto the bottom of our fuel tank right there. We've got to feed it up and over the power steering rack through a little bracket, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, tighten down on this end. We still got to put our bushing in, but we got lots of room to do that. And I'm going to go up the front and get our front connected. Okay, so we've got our first line in, and now we're going to put our pressure line in. This is our return line. I've just got it loosely on here. I haven't tightened anything yet, just in case I need to move it. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to jump in the car, and my trusty assistant is going to feed me the fuel line from underneath. This one's going to be a little bit tougher to get in. You ready? Yeah. Okay, start feeding it very slowly, slower than that. Oh, I lost it. Don't pull back. I'll tell you if I need you to. Okay, I got it again. Just push it in a little bit faster. Keep coming. Okay, pull it back a little bit. Okay, now push forward. Whoop. Hang on. Pull it back just a little bit. Too much. Push it forward. A little bit more. Okay, it's stuck on something. Pull it back more. Okay, now push forward. Nope, we missed. Pull back. Stop. Push forward. There we go, we're in. Okay, slow down. I gotta get up to the back. Okay. Keep coming. Pull it back. Oh, okay, I'm gonna switch it. Keep coming. Keep coming, keep coming. Slow down. Keep coming. More, more, more. Keep going. Okay, slow down right there. Just a little tiny bit more. Stop. I'm going to try and move it to the other side of this pipe. Okay, I need you to come in slowly. Come back about 1/4 of an inch. More. Okay, stop there. Okay, press it in. Okay, so we have our pressure line now.
That looks good now.
It always helps when you can see. Not a lot of room to work in this one. Okay, we're tight. All right, now for the real fun part is our second fuel line has to go through our bracket. We got our first fuel line through and it is a tight fit. It was tight enough with just nothing in the bracket. Now we've got another line in there. It's going to make it even harder.
You need a line in the bracket?
Yeah, just don't move. There we go. That bent it down a little bit.
It did.
All right, so we've got our fuel line through our bracket. I've got a new copper washer. Come in with a new copper washer on this end, and then our cap nut. Now we can tighten both these fuel line fittings up. I want to make sure nothing's resting against the body. It's all clear. Okay. All right. So there's our fuel line connections in. We've got to put our rubber bushings, get those installed next. And then rubber bushings in the back and we can start closing everything up. So I'm just going to lube our bushings with some silicone grease to help install. So we've got our rear bushings in, and these are a little bit of a battle. Definitely need to have a little bit of silicone grease on both the inside and the outside, and try and position the split somewhere where you can manage it to be able to push it in, because that's where it tends to want to roll out. All right, so I've got both of those fuel lines back in. I'm going to get my cross member back up and tightened. And then I'll put just a couple of gallons of fuel in it first and run the fuel pump up to pressure, make sure we don't have any leaks. And then it's just a matter of putting everything back together. So I've just unplugged the fuel pump safety wire at the sensor plate, and I'm just going to run up some fuel pressure and make sure we don't have any leaks. So I got the fuel pump running. Nothing dripping. Okay, so my pump's running, clean and dry here, clean and dry here. No leaks, pump doesn't sound like it's straining. This looks good. Let's take a look up the back. Yep, no problems, no fuel dripping anywhere. So it all looks good. I can go ahead, bring it down and put the rest of my pieces back together. I can put my cross member on. I don't want to start it right now because I am sitting on the transmission nose with my weight right here, so I can get my cross member back on, get all the front button back up and ready for a test drive.